Hello, everybody, and welcome. Thank you for joining us this morning or afternoon, depending on where you're joining us from on this side of the world. Welcome to our amazing webinar that is based on our playbook, which we will share more about during the course of this morning or afternoon. So, permission marketing mastery, LinkedIn social selling without the egg. So, this session is designed to help business to business professionals turn LinkedIn into a trusted relationship building channel and not a pitching platform. So today you will get to learn more about how to earn trust before sending a connection request, engaging the right prospects without cold pitching, applying the 80/20 value first approach that opens real conversations. So if you want better conversation on LinkedIn, higher response rates, and just LinkedIn leads that won't turn into or won't feel like forced conversations that give your prospects the ick, then this is the right place for you. My name is Mpho Mogorosi, and I am the operations manager and strategist at LadyBugz Marketing. And this morning I am joined by Noleen Thompson. Noleen is a business leader that is passionate about helping individuals move from being uncomfortable to finding their comfort zones. She unleashes confidence to the people that she works with, both personal and business brand leaders. Noleen leaves value nuggets to remind people of their individual value and unique voice and help them refine how they show up in business and personal lives. She is the founder of LadyBugz and leads a team, which I am part of, focused on elevating business to business brands through impactful webinars, strategic content, and LinkedIn enablement. Noleen? Good morning and welcome.
Thank you so much. Morning to everybody. Afternoon. I see someone is joining us from Melbourne, which could be
Amazing.
um, the middle of the night. So, welcome, and I do hope that you get some sleep in after this.
Yes,
Um,
thank you for
it's an
joining us and not sleeping.
Yes, and joining us live. So if you do have any questions, please do pop them into the chat. This is more a fireside chat conversation than you know, giving out, AI generated content. So yeah, thank you very much. And I'm proud to say that even people that have worked with us before and starting to work with us again. So they've taken a break and they've been doing things. We actually had a call yesterday with onboarded a new client that was a client and now a client again. And she said that Mpho has grown so much in the time since she last connected with Mpho, which was probably about 2 years ago. So I'm proud to have Mpho as part of my team, and this is why we're doing these things, is to help elevate one another as well as the network that we have in our at our disposal.
100%. Thank you so much. I mean, we challenge ourselves every day to learn something new, to get out of our comfort zones, and you actually do that very well. So everyone in our team knows that a comfort zone is not where you grow. So let's kick things off. I'll start by asking you a question, so that we can help our people that are joining us today. What is the biggest mistake that you see business to business professionals making on LinkedIn today?
Selling themselves before they become a trusted authority in what they sell. So what I mean by that is, you know, and I do it every time just to see how fast people send me, please can I set up a meeting? I know we all get those, right? Um, I mean, I test it every now and again, and I accept a connect request where I know I'm going to get a spam. And I think it's that desperation that comes through. So when you're in the B2B space and social selling, the desperation side needs to come out because social selling, it takes time. In B2B, people buy from people. And I think the worst thing is that people are treating it like sending someone an email or a fax. It's not the same thing. So back in the day, there were things called faxes for those people who don't understand that. We actually put a piece of paper that had some writing on it, and it went through a line and it came out. So like a printer, but except it would go from one place to another place via a telephone line. Um, but when we're doing that, what we're doing is we're creating a brand that immediately someone wants is not asking, do you have a broker? I would like to see if I can do a comparative quote on your current insurance, or just building a relationship. They automatically go in for the kill. Um, I've got many of those stories, but I think that's the biggest thing is you don't walk into a networking situation literally and go, hi, my name is Noleen. I've seen your LinkedIn profile and you need my help. So where can you sign on the dotted line? Well, that's kind of like a big no-no. So that's the biggest mistake I see. And most people are still trying to do that because they're under the gun and they've got, you know, targets to make, etc. So that's the biggest mistake that I've seen.
And I think some professionals forget to put themselves in the shoes of the person receiving the communication because think about it, if it was you and someone was being so aggressive and desperate, how would you like interact with that? Would you want to do business with someone who's I don't know, reeks of desperation. It sounds like a recipe for disaster. So I think another thing is that just put yourself in the shoes of the person receiving all of that. Hey, buy from me, or hey, I can make your life easier. Just think about it first. Bring back the H in humanity. That's something that you were discussing at our branding boot camp. Um, so yeah, the next question is, when it comes to relationship building on LinkedIn, how do you stay top of mind with prospects without being annoying, pushy, or giving them the ick?
That's a good question. I think the first part starts with setting up your LinkedIn profile that it doesn't say, I can use Word, I can use Excel, I'm amazing. I. Please don't. Okay. So let's take the I out of it and let's when you've got your LinkedIn profile, remember it's not just about a CV or a resume portal. Even as you know, when talent managers and HR are looking at your portal, your LinkedIn, they're looking to see um, how you presenting yourself and how aligned to the brand that you're currently at. Okay, so you we all know salespeople don't necessarily stay, forever in a business. So because we're talking about social selling, if it's your own business, then still it's you as a brand. So if you think of um, Virgin, you've got a person behind it. You think of Microsoft, there's a person because those are big. Nike is a consumer brand. It's not a business to business brand. So you've got to position yourself that you are as a leader and you are that thought leader. So you need to make sure that you're active on LinkedIn and you have a proper profile. Now, what does active on LinkedIn mean? So in other words, building that going back to the question that you asked. So we're starting with obviously setting up your profile, but it has to have the person in mind, not you in mind. So what are the problems you're solving? What is the trust that you're building? Have you got recommendations on your profile? That's how you start with the trust. And then sharing content that is educational, not selling. Now, I know on LinkedIn, there's like these posts that are going viral. Comment if you want my, AI loop that's going to get you 100,000 in 2 days or whatever whatever that is.
Mm.
Um, Epic fail at the moment because LinkedIn's algorithm is picking up AI written posts and they push them down. So you get maybe some impressions, but you won't get great. And Stephen Bartlett, for those who kind of watch it, I enjoy some of his podcasts, and I'm always keen, as he's also in the digital marketing space, to learn from others. So that's the other thing
Yeah.
is, part of building that authority and social selling is actually networking with your competition.
Mm.
We've got competition that we actually do business with and have sessions with. So, because we're not great at everything, and we want the client to be seen as great as for everything. Um, so yeah, build your brand that it's credible, that you're not selling. I think that's kind of answering the simple, taking lots of it, putting it into a story and saying, don't sell.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I mean, like I said, being so aggressive with trying to tell people that you're there to sell doesn't help at all. You need to be authentic. You need to add value to your markets. You need to add value in the content that you're sharing. It's not just about buy from me all the time. You need to build that authentic brand. And when we going back to building a LinkedIn profile, what would you say are the top, I know it's reaching, but top three elements of a LinkedIn profile that build trust before someone even connects with you?
That's easy. Your name, that name that your mommy gave you, or the one that you might have changed because you didn't like the name your mommy gave you. Um, Whatever's on your ID book, that's the name you have on LinkedIn. You don't have on Noleen, Thompson, MBA, ABC, LinkedIn Master Trainer, and that your name becomes this long. So when someone tries to tag you on LinkedIn, it becomes half a paragraph. Okay. So let's keep to your name specifically, because otherwise you're trying too hard. Yes, MBA is searchable, and all your accreditations and your CPAs and your ABCs and everything else is credible when you're going further down on your LinkedIn profile. Everything is searchable on your LinkedIn profile. So please don't make your name be unapproachable. Even if you've got a PhD, still, what that does is someone who doesn't, even though they might be a CEO, they might not be as secure in who they are. Please don't put Dr. So and so, not for any other reason, because doctors are in there, but
Yeah.
you want to be approachable. So some people don't know if they're good enough to approach someone. So your name should be your name. Okay. That's the first part. The second one is your photograph.
Mm.
Recent, ladies, if you're dyeing your hair different colors, if you've got short, long, whichever, I mean, I've got stages of length. If I get tired of long hair, then I go very short, and then in between. It actually changes the shape of your face, for one. For other cultures, especially here in South Africa, but it's across the world where there's weaves and wigs and we, you need to make
Yeah,
sure.
I was about to say, if I can just add to that,
Yes,
with us, women of color, prime example, me, I love wigs. I love like experimenting with different wigs. And I have noticed that your face does change with every hairstyle. If you've got braids, take a selfie with the braids and then update your LinkedIn profile. Well, I'm guilty right now. I have a wig, but my LinkedIn profile is braids. But don't be like me. Make sure that it is up to date with every hairstyle that you have so that when you go to networking events, people can recognize you because it's live, it's real, it's based on how you look right now, today. So, yes, don't be like me.
absolutely. And it builds trust or distrust. So here's another example. So men, if you've decided to grow a goatee or it's no Movember and everyone decides to do, for me, I just can't. This little piece here, I just, anyway. Um, Also, this is now a true story. Uh, this is BC before COVID. Um, I walked in, I was meeting with someone. I walked into the restaurant to meet with them. Well, I was actually at a golf club to meet with these people. They were in the financial sector, and I'm looking for this person that I've got as a picture on the profile. Needless to say, I had to phone the person, and he like, yeah, I'm here, waving, And I was like, when I sat down, I said, how old is this photo? He says it's about 20 years old. So I
No,
was looking for a 30 something and he was a 50 something. Definitely did not look the
forever
same.
young.
Now, the problem with that is you're in the financial sector. The psychology behind the photo is I can't trust you, but they don't know why. Okay. So your photo needs to be recent, whether you're conducting online or in person or speaking or whatever that looks like. You need to make sure that your photo, because you will be searched, people in procurement, etc., etc. And then please, guys, please look like you're happy to be there. No one wants to do business with Mr. or Mrs. Grumpy. So be recent, take selfies, like there's most of my photos are all selfies. There's only one photo shoot that we did that we utilized for a certain campaign, but otherwise I've utilized selfies all along the way. Why? Because our cameras probably are so much better than it was 10 years ago when people were actually doing corporate photo shoots. So smile so that you look approachable. The third thing that I would make sure is your headline. Okay. So when someone is connecting to you or you connecting to someone, the first three things people see is your name, your photo, and your headline. The first seven, maybe eight, depending on what the words are. The first eight words are the most important. Please don't make the first eight words, I'm a sales guy and I'm going to sell you something. So you make it interesting, not something, a problem you solve. When they go down further into your profile, they can see that you're in business development, you're the CEO, because if you're the CEO of ABC Shoes, I don't care. I don't know what that business does. I want to know, how do you help me? Why is it that you want to connect with me? Because LinkedIn has restricted a lot of connection note requests now. So I think you get like 5 on non-premium. So what we focus on is how to use LinkedIn organically, which means LinkedIn is restricting a lot of the activity that it used to be able to do when I first started the business 9 years ago to where it is now, where I'm like, oh my word, we're personally connecting and it's like saying, we think you're a bot. I'm like, no, not a bot. It's only me. So I would say definitely focusing on your headline that it's solution based or a problem that you're solving as part of your kind of headline. Those are the top three things.
Awesome. I think you've said in detail. So, let's say I have all of that figured out. I have a recent profile photo. My headline is talking about how I solve problems, and my bio is up to date, and it tells people about who I am and what they stand to gain from me or collaborating with me. And you mentioned connections. Now I want to build my presence because I'm in sales and I want to connect with the right people. Firstly, let's say maybe I'm new to LinkedIn. What is the concept of building connections, and how do you identify the right prospects versus just anyone in your target industry?
Okay. Research. Now, I have a friend that does sales training, amongst other things. And she told me the other day her biggest frustration is the salespeople that she's, and this is in big corporates. So she's doing sales training within big corporates. And the biggest thing when she actually stood there and go, okay, guys, so when you're doing research, where do you go? And there were like these blank faces that were looking back at her going, what do you mean we have to do research? Okay. So um please do your research. I think that's part of it. And if you decide, okay, this is the industries that I want to go into, so there's, the top left-hand corner, you can do some searching on LinkedIn like you would with Google and all of that. You don't need Sales Navigator until you do. In other words, until you start getting like your search results are being blocked, etc., etc. But when you get there, then you need Sales Navigator. So all of this stuff that we're talking about is still available currently as at 19 March 2026. Disclaimer. That's what you want to do is look at, let's say, for instance, I'm wanting to connect with Nike. So we mentioned Nike earlier. Or no, not Nike. No, because they're not B2B. So let's look at who's another B2B company. Give me a
Mm,
name.
mm.
I'm trying to think. Okay,
Help in the chats.
uh I'm trying, yeah, the brain has gone blank. Okay, let's say it's a company called
You
IT
saw IT
Amazing.
solutions.
Yes,
Yes.
IT Amazing. So like it's amazing. I know, right? I just created a company called It's Amazing because it's IT. Hashtag just saying it's mine.
Okay.
Um, it might actually exist, I'm not sure. But and they're selling onto businesses their solutions, whether it be cybersecurity, having a help desk, etc., etc. With that, um, what you want to do is do your research and find out who's sitting at the top of that board. Who's who's sitting in that as managers and executives, and then connect strategically with those guys, and then start sharing your content. So the content that you share should be educational. So we covered a little bit of that. And then when you are sharing, once you're connected, they start seeing your name. So when you're strategically wanting to start targeting, understand and do your research on who's in that business. And don't just make one person and say, oh, I've got salespeople. So we do sales coaching and I sit and I coach people on a weekly basis and I go, okay, so have you done? Oh no, I did. I said, no, this is not how it works. If you really want to get into a client, you have to connect with everybody that's sitting on that because you don't know at the end of the day who's sitting on that panel that's going to sign off your proposal. But you want them to know of you because of the fact that they've seen your name, they've seen your content. Now,
Mm,
what this does is psychology tells us that it, someone has to see your content, your post, your name between 8 and 12 times before they learn to trust you. Start to trust you. Doesn't mean they do. It doesn't mean because you've posted 12 times that everybody has seen your posts either, because the LinkedIn algorithm pushes certain content to certain people. So you have to be consistent. When you have connected with those people, make sure that you've got something to share with them. So that would be, so if you do your research and you decide these are the 5 clients I want to target this week, and you then understand who are those players. I mean, if you look at even a company like uh, Nedbank or one of the banks or whatever bank in the world, you've got this part of the bank does this. This part of the bank does private banking. This one does business banking. This one does car financing. This one does home loans. And every single business unit has different people underneath those. So what you need to do is do your research and understand what that organic structure looks like. And that's on Google, easy. Um, GPT these days, some people are utilizing it as Google. But then on LinkedIn, you need to start connecting with those people. And it's as easy as searching that person's name and the company and connecting. Add a note if you can, if it's still allowing you. I think you're on the free version, you can do 5 with a personal note per week. So utilize that. And, but then when you're doing it, you go, I really loved your post on blah, 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 blah. I'd love to connect with you and talk more about that particular topic that but obviously you have to have read the content, please, guys, and actually commented on his post before you make it. Yes, just I've
very.
had people, go like or share something just because it's somebody that they know and they actually haven't read the post.
Mm, that gives an ache for sure.
Exactly. That definitely gets an egg. And
I
it's
mean,
going to relate back to your brand and it's part of your brand
yes,
building. So if it's got something in there that you don't agree with and you like totally against, it's a problem.
it is. And just for the sake of enlightening people, I know that you've had an ick encounter, going back to research, the lack of research before you approach someone, before you send them a connect request, and then they accept your connect request, and then now you're going off, but you didn't do your research. If you can just please share that story.
Do
It's
I
just so
have to?
crazy.
Yeah. So for the sake of the webinar, I closed all my, so I'm going on my phone so I can actually, this is something that's happened literally
This
today.
week.
And so there's a new one today,
Oh,
literally. There's a new one today. Um, they are a media marketing, amplifying their marketing, um, using advertising products. And if you read my LinkedIn, it says we do organic only. Someone has sent me a message. So I accepted just to see, like for the specific session or just to always have something handy to show when I'm coaching. Um, are you under pressure to deliver more output with a small media budget this year? I'm like,
oh
seriously,
no.
dude. Okay, so that's the one. The other one, let me just go to her. So I accepted because I was curious on what she would do. So another ick is B2B founders into the most recognized individual industry, help branding and everything else. That's her headline. I'm not going to give you all the details because otherwise you can find her. So this is because of all the privacy properties, we can't kind of give things out. Hey, Noleen, I'm a fellow mate of Gary Vaynerchuk's community. Just wanted to connect as I work mostly with Gary's people on their social media. So what she's meaning is anyone who follows Gary Vaynerchuk, so Gary V for those who know him as that, she connects with those people. So I was keen to see what her approach would be. Yo, Noleen, how are you? Like, we're best friends, like literally, yo. Okay. Um, then a little bit about me. So again, she sticks the ick comes in. I can see on your LinkedIn profile what you do. Why are you telling me in a DM
Again.
again? Okay. A little bit about me, but I help people build their LinkedIn presence organically. She's
Mm.
selling me what we do. So 100% ick. And then she still followed up and say, are you still there? I'm like,
Oh.
yeah, she's still got an ignore. So I want to see how long it's going to take for her to eventually realize I ain't responding.
Ugh.
Um, but it those approaches, in other words, she hasn't done her research. She's probably using a bot or automation or something like that. And this is where you have to be really careful. You have to make sure that when you're doing it, when you're doing connecting and that kind of thing, you have to make sure that those messages don't look like a bot. A couple years ago, just another X story is there were three people from the same company that connected to me and sent me the exact same worded message,
Oh.
like 100% exact, word for word. Now, guys, it doesn't take much. AI is there to help you if necessary. Like based on this person's profile, what are the problems in that specific industry that I can help solve? And you can actually just say, you know, my first message connect is, thanks for connecting with me. Let me know if you're battling with something. I'm here to help if you have any questions. Or maybe there's some synergies, would love to learn from you. So I'm putting it into their court. I'm wanting to say, what is it about you? And I think that's another thing is um, don't just connect. So I think it's that part of that ick where people go, oh, but I need to do something because now I'm connected to that person. So what do I say? Just say hi, like you would in a networking session. Not hi, my name is Noleen, because I can see it on your profile. So you say, hi, John. Um, Hi, Neo. Hi, Lauren. Hi, Brett. Kind of um, would love to learn more about what you do. Tell me a little bit about yourself. People love to talk about themselves. They
Yes.
love it. So when you're doing that, make sure that you're talking about them to start off with, because that way you're giving them a voice to learn to start to trust you.
100%. Just going back to building that relationship with your connections. You have an end in mind, you have a goal that you've established, the reason why you connected with these people. What would you say is now the best approach to moving LinkedIn conversations? I mean, you've established a rapport, you've now engaged with the content, and they started to engage with your content. How do you move from those LinkedIn conversations into sales meetings without being pushy or icky?
So there's a number of things, and I think this goes into the holistic approach where marketing and sales should not be siloed. Because if marketing and sales are siloed, then you're actually not going to have the proper return on your investment. And what does this mean is that marketing could create articles, ebooks, playbooks, webinars, and then you invite those people to those events. But by the way, we've just published an article. I think it really hits some of the problems that the industry that you're in is really facing. Um, Maybe this is of interest to you, whatever that looks like, so that you start connecting with them. The other way is, so now this is true story. Okay. Going back to true story. Um, and when this person sees the snippet on social, he's going to giggle. Yes, you're welcome to giggle, Bill. So we're having a fat conversation on LinkedIn when I first connected to him, and he was a a sales director at Liquid Telecom at the time, and we're busy having a heavy LinkedIn debates and DM. So he's telling the rest of the sales funnel. I'm talking the beginning of the sales funnel, and we're having and he's sharing content, and we actually it's a really great debated 2 days of conversation. Um, and he said, no, I don't want to meet up. I was like, okay, well, that's okay. A couple of weeks later, it was his birthday. So I say happy birthday, generally always, but I haven't in the last week because life has just been really busy, but that's not an excuse. But I said happy birthday, Bill, with a nice message. So, in other words, a bespoke message from myself, not an AI. This was because this is before AI, because we were talking about 7, 8 years ago. And I said, happy birthday, Bill. Looking forward to catching up over a coffee. Yes, sure. When? I got my meeting. I got my meeting. I didn't know he was retiring. Okay. By the way, I got my meeting though. And he has been one of our biggest advocates of our business, has given us business over time. But that's because you're thinking out the box and remembering there's a person behind the LinkedIn profile. So this is why you have to take the ick out of it. And if they don't take up having coffee, don't say, I still want to know if you want to have coffee. Don't keep going there. You opened up the door. If they don't respond and they just say thank you for the birthday note, you leave it there. They're not ready to have a conversation yet. Not everybody's ready for that conversation. So that's how
Yeah.
you can start it. Little bits, sharing little bits of value added content in the direct messages as well as posting.
100%. And I think when it comes to sharing valuable content and engaging, it's like the analogy that you like to use. It's planting of seeds, and you don't know when the seed will bear fruit. So you just need to, I think, from what I've learned in the little years that I have, well, not so little, but yes, is that business to business marketing is a patience game. You need to be very patient. It's not like a quick selling, like business to consumer. You're selling a product, you put it out there, and then someone wants to buy it. With business to business, you need to be a little more patient with wanting to see the results, wanting people to buy from you. It's planting those seeds and letting your brand gradually grow over time. So don't rush for the people to say, yes, I'll do business with you. Just wait. Else now you're giving people the ick. So,
100%. I mean,
yeah,
I've done proposals, a couple years, and then like 2 years after we did the proposal, the client is now ready to actually step forward. But now obviously we have to repropose and you know, look at what is the problem they're trying to solve. And because we don't have like numbers, just giving you a number for the sake of it. We are a bespoke agency. So in other words, we take what is the problem you're trying to solve and what is the best way that we know how to organically drive throughout your business, throughout every touch point you have to for people to engage, having employee advocacy programs, those kinds of things, um, including even your suppliers.
Hmm. And if someone is not that patient with building organic traction using organic content, and they're considering paying LinkedIn to help push their content and attract the right prospects, what would you say to that with regards to paying for ads on LinkedIn?
I don't want my LinkedIn account to be cancelled. But LinkedIn adverts are a lot more expensive than even Google ads, firstly. And think about your own behavior. So I'm not going to answer it directly in terms
Yes.
of do or don't, but think of it in your prospect. When you're scrolling, and this goes on to Google and whatever. So now Google's AI, whatever. But even the sponsored, when you look, see that Google is sponsoring the first three at the top, and you scroll past and you go to the organic ones. That's on Google. On LinkedIn, it's the same. And I've only had one person in the 9 years I've been running my business. I've only had one person tell me that they actually look at the adverts. And that person was someone who sells advertising and was an SEO. So that's why he looks at the adverts.
No, it
Okay.
doesn't come.
So he has a specific end in mind. It wasn't because of other reasons. Okay. So if you're looking and you're scrolling and you see sponsored content or promoted content, you don't look at it further. You scroll to go and see what are my other connections talking about.
Mm.
So you'll get impressions because people see it. But the results, and we've had a client that decided that no, they're going to go and do it and they're going to test it. And they paid, I don't know, 15K and not one lead, not a single thing. So yes, they might not have set it up correctly. Yes, there's all of this, but organic gets more growth than you could with sponsored content if you know how to work the system.
Yes, and the quality, I think from what I've seen, the quality of your content is very important. Do your research with what is working in terms of the LinkedIn algorithm and bring that back into the type of content that you produce. Think about people wanting to see more people on LinkedIn. Post more about your people, pictures about what you guys are doing on Fridays, post more about educating people about the work that you do, but keeping it to thought leadership, obviously, and not going into selling. So I think also the quality of your content helps with you boosting your efforts in terms of not trying to lean into um, advertising or paying for LinkedIn, especially if your budget is a bit tight. Even if it's not, I mean, rather invest your time in building quality content like hosting webinars and building case studies than, you know, paying for LinkedIn ads. So, Nelene, before we close and check if maybe people have questions for us in the chat, if there is one or two things that you would want people to take away an action from the session, what would those things be?
Set up your LinkedIn properly first before you start engaging. That's the one key thing. Because in the years, I mean, I was training while I was still in corporate. To give you a background is I've been in the B2B marketing business space uh, and sales space for, now I'm going to give my age away, for almost 30 years. I don't care, I'm leveling up every year, not, but So I've only known in the B2B space. And I've been on LinkedIn for 14 years. I was training people within the business I was in. So in the corporate I was in, I would be sitting during my lunchtime, taking my lunchtime to train people up on how to use LinkedIn inside my business because I knew that employee advocacy, although I didn't understand it at the time, that it was important in sharing content, in sharing each other's posts, how to enable my fellow sales guys to do better so that we as an organization do better. Hashtag that is one of my clients now. So just saying. But when I left that business, 80% of my connection or 80% of my business came from a LinkedIn Connect, and the others came from referrals. When I started my own business, I did not do one cold email, not one cold call. Everything was done via LinkedIn and building relationships. I got in front of executives without picking up my phone at all, messaging via LinkedIn, getting their email, setting up, confirming the meeting, and getting in front of them. And we never spoke on the phone at all. And I sit there and he goes, remind me again why I'm here or why we're meeting. And I'll go, because I want to show you your team how I just did what I did with you. In other words, get a meeting with a C-suite person without having to put your pick your phone up or anything. I think Mpho's having video challenges. But at this point, it's around making sure that your profile is good and that when you're connecting, have something to say, something to share. Don't just go in and go, hi, I want to do business. Can we set up a 15-minute call? You don't know what I actually have in place. So if I've got an outsourced IT, why would I want to replace because I do. Why would I want to replace my outsourced IT with somebody else if I don't have a relationship? So those are my two takeaways. I think we're having technical challenges. And Paul, can you
Yeah.
talk? We can hear
I don't
you.
know if you can still hear me.
Yes, we can still hear you, but your face is gone.
I'm not sure why,
It's
but
okay.
okay, these things happen. Um,
Technical challenges.
yes, I wanted us to also bring it back to our amazing playbook.
Yes. So we created a playbook to help you with the step-by-steps on how not, what is social selling and things to do, the do's and don'ts. It is quite a lengthy playbook. There should be a link in the chats. There you go. That you can download the thank you, Nessa, part of our team. That's if you're wanting to actually learn more about how to do it. So it's for Mahala. All you have to do is put your details in. No, we're not going to spam you with 100 things. Just invite you to, all the other things. I'm joking.
We
So
won't give
just
you the ick.
we weren't going to, no, it's more about the value add, and we'll give you, articles and other free webinars that are coming up, etc. So um, those kinds of things. But I think that's important. And we also have, post this, we're going to be doing monthly sessions. So our next monthly session has already been set up. And you're welcome to register for that now so that it's saved in your diary, because I know the next month and a half, so the next 6 weeks are crazy because of all the wonderful holidays that are coming up. But remember, I think, at the end of the day, LinkedIn is a networking platform. It's not a sales tool. And so don't use it as a sales tool. Yes, it can be your best CRM, so customer relationship management tool, because the customer is changing and updating their information. We no longer have to do that.
Yes.
But don't spam people. That's the ick part. So don't spam. No one likes spam. I get, I can help you with SEO, blah, blah, blah. This what I get these emails daily. I report, I block, I do all of these wonderful things. So, you know, yeah. I don't know if there's any questions.
Not in the chat. We haven't received any questions yet.
No, that's fine.
That's okay. But thank you to everybody for joining
Yes.
us this morning and being with us. We hope that you've learned a great deal from this session, that you can grab all the information that we've shared today and implement it. And we hope that it helps. Please don't go out there and giving your prospects the ick. Be authentic, be organic.
Yes. And, just we'll have the recording on our YouTube channel. So, subscribe on our YouTube channel. We don't have a lot of subscribers because it's not somewhere where we focus on, but we do upload all our free webinars and things like that that's on there. There's even some free sessions on how to set up your LinkedIn profile. Hint, hint, 67 minutes for my Diva Day. So if you want to go and have a look to set up your LinkedIn profile and make it professional, there's 67 minutes on how to set up your LinkedIn profile and the ways and the whys and the what you need to do. So um, hashtag just saying. There you go. There's our YouTube channel. Thank you very
Yes.
much. Thank you to everybody for joining and joining us from the middle of the night in the middle of nowhere. And everyone else that joined us too. We appreciate your time. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much and see you on the next one. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.